welcome into another episode of the Heel Brothers podcast. And we are officially here. It is game week. We are on the road to Charlotte, and it is just a couple of days from ending September 2nd, 7:30 p.m. in Charlotte, North Carolina. The North Carolina Tar Heels and the South Carolina Gamecocks are kicking off week one in a must-see Battle of the Carolinas. We are going to be there. We are so excited. I am so glad college football is back. Finally, after all this time, I've been waiting for it ever since the bowl game ended in Oregon, and now the wait is finally just a couple of days from being over. Man, if you haven't watched any of the stuff from the Road to Charlotte series that we've been doing since we started the channel, be sure to hit the playlist button and go over there and watch all that stuff right now. We've put out a bunch of content.
Got a lot of catching up to do.
You do, yeah. We got a lot, but we make it easy for you. We make it fun. We try to make it entertaining as possible. And be sure and go catch all that good stuff. But today, we are finally here to look and preview the matchup against South Carolina happening this Saturday. Alan, this is a big one.
Gamecocks. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a huge one for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Honestly, for both teams, you have to look at it. The way the South Carolina Gamecocks ended their season, a big win over Tennessee, big win over Clemson, pretty solid bowl performance against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
North Carolina being 9-1, then losing their last four, being in the ACC title game, falling short, getting out there to San Diego, and taking a top 15 team in Oregon all the way to the final seconds. And unfortunately,
took them to
really,
the brink.
Just lost in the very final seconds. Alan, as you come into this season, we all know the hype. We all know the media attention that's been behind everything from the Tez Walker situation to Drake as a Heisman contender. Is the defense going to get better? When you look at this South Carolina matchup, what do you believe, once it's all said and done, what we're going to see from the Tar Heels this season?
I believe we will see Drake May doing Drake May things.
I'm with you.
I hope that we see the defensive front perform to their capabilities instead of subpar. For this team to go as far as they want to go this season, I believe that the defensive line has to step up in a major way this season.
Absolutely.
From what little I have seen, researched on the Gamecocks, their offensive line has sustained some injuries in training camp. So they're not. Reports say that the offensive line for the Gamecocks is an issue, so to speak. So if the defensive line has progressed the way they say they've progressed throughout training camp, spring training, then you would think the Tar Heels would have an advantage. Then we have the back end, addition by subtraction with the corners, the new safeties. Will Hardy be available?
Yeah,
that remains to be seen.
Hardy, Boykins, and Lane.
Yeah,
all three of them. That's sad.
Yeah, we're a little banged up in the secondary, but I think it's going to be. I think Vegas has a spread at 2.5. Carolina's favor. If we're saying Carolina, we're talking about the Tar Heels' favor. But yeah, 2.5 points to the good guys. So I mean, that means Vegas thinks these teams are pretty much even. I would say, pretty much even. So I mean, one play, the game could flip. One turnover, or even one punt where North Carolina pins South Carolina inside the 5. Anything like that. Just one big return on either a kickoff or a punt return to flip the field position. That could be the key to this game.
I'm with you. It's going to be an interesting one, man. And I think that 2.5 kind of comes from the guy in number 10, personally, myself, because, South Carolina is bringing back their quarterback and Spencer Rattler, who's gotten a lot of hype throughout the media. It seems that he is having a great camp. And now I've heard that has kind of been something that's been going on the past couple of years. You don't really know if, and the only reason we say this is because it's been put out there multiple times by multiple sources that if South Carolina truly trusts their quarterback,
Yeah.
up until those last 3 games of the season, it looked like, Rattler was having kind of a rough season. Not, a lot of interceptions, and, even the
Yeah.
fans got uneasy with them a lot. But, Shane Beamer stuck by his guy, his transfer out of Oklahoma. And, the connection between him and Juice Wells is a real thing. So I really
Yeah.
believe that if North Carolina can do 2 things, one, hold Juice Wells and be able to perform really well in the secondary. Now I know they've got this new kid in Nichols Harbor, I believe his name is, and heard he's a pretty big freak. He's an athlete, to say the least.
Is
And
that 6'6" freshman wide
yes,
receiver that runs like a 4.3?
yes.
Yeah, like
So
Olympic trial hopeful.
yeah, so if
he's
they
fast.
got that guy, and they're putting him out there game 1, which honestly I believe that you'll see him out there maybe even start the game, because I honestly think,
Changing speed.
yeah, one way or another, whoever gets the ball first, I kind of feel like a deep ball's coming first, especially if Tez is playing for North Carolina. If you've got Tez playing and then all of the weapons on South Carolina playing, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody tries to go deep just to try to punch you right in the mouth. This is going to be a physical game. I think we all know that. We kind of figured that out. This is going to be a physical, tough game. These 2 teams do not like each other. These fan bases do not care for each other at all.
No.
This is it's not something you see all the time, but it has formed itself into a low-end rivalry, honestly. When these 2 teams face up,
just out of nature of the circumstances. They agree to play once every 5 years on a neutral site. So Sam Howell's first game his freshman year, that was one. It just so happens that they met in the Duke's Mayo Bowl
in Charlotte.
Of course, in Charlotte, due to both teams finishing 6-6 on the season. Then just a short 2-year two-season turnaround, and we're right back doing the same thing. Just with Duke's Mayo kickoff.
Classic.
Maybe is that classic Duke's Mayo classic.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I think UNC's looking at it as a revenge game, personally. South Carolina's coming in, and you kind of get you take the temperature of the room from the South Carolina side. 2 things. One, they kind of feel like they have this in the bag. I've heard that a lot. I've saw a lot of people in the South Carolina camp predict, oh yeah, we'll win. You win that game probably pretty easy. A lot of even media people have even. That's why it's kind of surprising to me that the spread is what it is for UNC, because a lot of people I've saw have actually given South Carolina the nod for this game. So there's some confidence there, and I feel like the tables are turned, from the Mayo Bowl game, because when North Carolina came into that game, they seemed like, we got it in the bag, and even we as fans kind of felt like, we got it, no problem. But then you go in there and you get smacked. So, UNC is in a really good position coming into this game. Yeah. And I think the attitude of the program. Now, obviously, we don't know what we have until Charlotte comes. A couple of days down the line when they put the ball down on the field and they snap it. You don't know what the Tar Heels are going to be yet. We can speculate. Oh, the Tar Heels will be this. Nobody knows. Mac Brown and Gene Chizik and Chip Lindsey, all those guys do not know who this team is yet. They have an idea. They may have a imagination.
They got some aspirations and some hopes.
Yeah, that's what they have. And, you hope everything that you see truly is what it is. And that the team comes out and plays as well as some in the program believe that they could, and the way that they look. History tells us that might not be the case. So it's a toss-up thing for the Tar Heels, but I really do believe that if North Carolina is going to win, and especially win by a sizable margin, the defensive line is going to have been definitely improved. It's the only way. Especially if they're weak on the offensive line.
Yeah, UNC is going to need all the pressure they can get to keep keep Juice Wells from shaking loose. I heard he's on the injury report as either doubtful or probable. But I've also heard that Juice Wells has said, "I don't care what I'm listed on the injury report. I'm in the game." So
Yeah.
I mean,
And
unless
North
he just
Carolina's
has
still waiting
some
on
kind of
Tez.
major setback,
Yeah.
I expect Wells to suit up. And
Did
just
they say what his injury was by
the
chance?
lower body. So I'm assuming it's a calf, a hamstring, a
Yeah.
quad. But reversing the comment, you say you expect the teams to come out and throw the deep ball. I'm on the other side. I think if North Carolina gets the ball first, we try to smack them with the run, right? And be like, look, this is what it is, and this is what it ain't. We're gonna blow this line up real quick and just see how much we can push you around right off the get, because you know how Freddie Kitchens wants to run the ball.
Yeah.
And I
That and Randy
don't
Clements.
see, yeah, I don't, because I mean, just say we throw up a jump ball for Tez and or anybody. The last thing you want to do is throw up a jump ball and it turns into a 50-50 ball and South Carolina interception on the first play of the game. That's worst case scenario for North Carolina. I'm not saying we're not going to pass the ball, but I really think we're going to try to, the first play, we try to just cram it right down the throat.
Yeah. Honestly, I could see that because there has been, the past few years, South Carolina's had issues with the run. Bad issues with the run.
You saw how Will Shipley just torched them that first half.
Yeah. And then they went away from it, and then they ultimately lose that game. They've got some pretty nice corners back there. I know of one of, I don't know if he's a corner or a safety that's back there, that he's supposed to be like top 50 in the nation, one of the best back there doing it. And so they've got some guys on that back end. So, our wide receivers and Drake is definitely going to be tested with the coverages that they're going to throw at them. So honestly, I could see that. Definitely. I could honestly see the run coming in and being a big factor, coming straight out, maybe some tight end play for sure.
Yeah,
this is Copenhagen versus Chance.
Yeah.
And, maybe 4 verts and then having that tight end slip the last minute. I could see some stuff like that, just pick up yards easily just like that. But when you look at how the season is set up, we all know what the first 4 games are. Neutral site, Charlotte against South Carolina. Come home, App State. We saw what that game was last year. At home again, Minnesota. Then you're on the road at Pittsburgh. Does a win in Charlotte set the tone for the season?
You want to say yes, because every football team wants to start the season 1-0. But then you can say yes, but it's a non-conference game. So does it matter? It doesn't. I mean, you look, 2015? The 2015 season? Played South Carolina, lost. We finished that season 11-1. Go to the ACC championship and get a crappy offsides call that clearly could have, put us right back, had a chance to win that game. So you don't discount game 1 because everybody wants to start the season 1-0. I think it's more of you really want to win this game if you're North Carolina. 1, just to wash the bad taste out of your mouth from the past 2 trips to Charlotte. You lost to South Carolina in the Mayo Bowl. You lost to Clemson in the ACC championship. Both games are in Charlotte. So you really want to go to Charlotte and you want to make a statement. Be like, we can get this done in this building. 2, North Carolina needs to get this win to get this, just to get the monkey off the back. Like, okay, we got this first.
Cut the cord from last season. Cut that cord. It's over.
We're into a season. Then you don't have to worry about, this team's lost 5 straight now. But then also you win the game, you get this train rolling down the tracks. You get Drake some confidence. You get these running backs confidence. If the defense performs well, guess what? They just performed well against an SEC team, and you know how everybody looks at the teams from the SEC. They're tough, they're big, they're strong. The SEC in football terms is where you want to be. So an ACC school gets the better of an SEC team. that's a that's a positive for UNC.
No, I'm right there with you. And, especially depending on, given a North Carolina win here, you know, depending on the win, I think also tells a lot. If you go out there and you win, skinny your teeth, but you perform really badly. Really badly. All right. Well, maybe you just skate through. Like, oh, you remember last season? Remember they just skated through every.
Drake may save us again. Drake
Yeah,
may,
yeah. What did we
unless it's
prove?
the defense that saves us, unless the roles are reversed, and it's the
Right.
defense that actually saves that game.
Then that thing can also be reversed. Like, oh crap, our offense is still not performing in the end of
Yeah.
games or whatever it is.
When,
But uh,
or heaven forbid, people are like, oh, Chip Lindsey's not good.
oh yeah, and that's a conversation I believe that either will be started or have already ended by the time that game ends. I honestly think that
Oh,
that right there is that's going to be a big one, especially if you can get it. If you can, that offense can really start to cook. We'll see how it goes though. But
well, yeah. I can hear UNC fans in the stands now. If North Carolina starts 3-and-out the first 2 or 3 drives, and the offense just looks terrible, and they're like, oh well, this is the worst hire ever. I can hear it now.
yeah,
You know,
it's a definitely yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I mean, you know how some UNC fans are.
Well, I'm actually glad you brought up the fans. So let's say North Carolina was to win. What do you think it does for the fans?
I don't think this win does anything for the fans, quite honestly.
Really?
Um, if you're a UNC fan and you have friends that are South Carolina fans or family that are South Carolina fans, and you get that old got you on that one. You get some payback through them. But winning one game in an out of conference, to me personally, that doesn't do anything for the season except for get your season on started on the right foot. It's not like the Clemson Duke game where Duke has really high expectations for their season. Clemson has extremely high expectations for their season, and that's an ACC that's an ACC game. So that week one matters a lot. I would say Clemson's game in the grand scheme of things, week one means a lot more than the North Carolina South Carolina game means. Because if Clemson loses that game week one to Duke, well then it all of a sudden that automatically pretty much makes that FSU game a must win for Clemson, and it's only week one. You're up against law week one because you have a loss on the scoreboard.
I guess for me, it's given the hype around South Carolina and everything, I could see where a win against South Carolina and Charlotte, given it's a good win, a really good win. I mean, if you beat a team in the SEC, I mean that's gonna help you
Yeah,
a lot, especially given how they ended last year. And I think it helps that South Carolina ended the way that they did last year. Now, if you were getting a South Carolina team that went up against Tennessee and got blown out instead of blowing them out, or going up against Clemson, another loss to Clemson, as normal. And I don't think they've been in a bowl game at that point in time. I think they would have been like, I think they would have just had enough 6 wins to get into a bowl game.
yeah.
And then who knows
They
who they
finished
play
nine
then.
and five. They finished
They
nine and
finished nine
five,
and
just like so,
okay.
just like
So
North Carolina.
yeah. If they get into let's say they play a lower end bowl game, maybe win that game, do okay, who knows? But I think it helps UNC a lot, and I could see where a win in South Carolina may tip the scales, and I've already saw where App State's like sold out immediately. But I think it will help the team gather and garner a lot more attention from the fan base. I think the fan base gets more excited because, oh man, they went out and beat SEC. I mean, this team last year, they went out and beat Tennessee and Clemson. We couldn't even beat Clemson. They beat Clemson, so we beat them. And, they returned all their guys back, and man, they're looking good. And it would also help if South Carolina goes on to win, their next 2 out of 3. Because I think they got Georgia in that first 4. So I think you'd probably take them as an elder. Who knows? And you never know with college football.
But at the same time, South Carolina had all that success at the end of the season last season. But that didn't transfer over to the success that they had last season, didn't transfer to this one because they're not even ranked in the top 25. North
They're
Carolina's
just
ranked in
outside
the
of it.
top 20. They're ranked in the top 25, but South Carolina got some votes, but they didn't get enough to even crack the top 25. So does the win mean more or what a loss to an unranked South Carolina team mean? Because North Carolina is technically the ranked team. So if South Carolina wins, technically it's an upset because they beat the ranked team, and the ranked team lost to an unranked SEC opponent.
Yeah, I think a loss here would extremely hurt the team, personally. Extremely hurt the team.
I guess it's in the manner in which they lose. You know,
Yeah.
if it comes down in the game's 17 to 20, and South Carolina kicks a 52-yard field goal to win the game
Mhm.
with no time left on the clock, I mean, you like I said, the game doesn't matter. It doesn't matter towards your ACC standings.
Right.
You still have all your goals accomplishable. You handle your business in your ACC schedule. You can still go to the ACC championship. You still have the ability to be ACC champions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this game, man. I personally, as a fan, this is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I say this. And we're going to do a season predictor show right after this. Will be the last show that we do before it is time for our vlog in Charlotte before the game and everything. But and I'll hold my prediction for the game then, for that show.
Yep.
But personally, I want the Tar Heels to come out and I could see them losing closely, very much.
Mm-hmm. I
But I could
can see him
also
losing this
see
game
them
close.
winning big. I could see that. I'm honestly
I see
not
it if
sold on the
Tez
idea.
Walker's playing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I honestly don't see if I don't see an alternative where South Carolina comes out and blows out North Carolina. Obviously, it can happen. All depends on the defense, but I have faith
Yep.
in the defense this year.
Mm-hmm.
Foolishly, potentially, we'll see. Or maybe one person looks like a genius in a few weeks from now. So who knows? But no, I can honestly see and what I honestly want. I want North Carolina to come out here and make a statement, both running the ball and defensively. Those two things.
Yeah.
I know the
See,
passing game is
I'd
going to
love
be
to see
good.
it.
I
Mm-hmm.
believe the passing game is going to be great, just like it was last year. I really don't think you're going to skip a beat at all. As a matter of fact, if anything, I think it's actually going to be a tad bit smoother, if you will, a little bit less predictable. And that's what they need because UNC, towards the back half of the season last year, got very predictable on offense, especially red zone offense. So, if you can run the ball at all, especially in the red zone, that is going to help your red zone offense throughout the season. Those numbers are going to get better.
Yeah.
And I know Chip Lindsey here has a record of, not doing that well in the red zone as well as Phil. But I really
Yeah.
believe the hiring of Randy Clements is going to help that a lot. All depends on the offensive line, and you hear mixed things about them, but we'll see.
I haven't heard anything mixed. I've just heard they've been wet toilet paper.
So yeah, you hope that's not the case, or either the offensive line is decent and just the defensive line has gotten really good. You really hope that.
That's what I got my fingers crossed for. I'm just hoping our defensive line is just shredding our offensive line because our defensive line is finally playing at or above the potential that they have the capability of having. I mean, you can't have so many 4 and 5 stars on the defensive line and not produce for so long until you turn around and be like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, no joke. And one thing I also kind of look at the offensive line is who knows what happened. They may start the season not doing too well, but let them get in and acclimated more to Randy Clement's offense and how they're being used. And who knows if that might change. But it's going to be a good game in Charlotte, dude. I'm looking forward to the game. I am excited. It's going to be just we just got a few short days away. I'm looking forward to it. Only a few days away. just a few more sleeps, and we will be in Charlotte. We're going to be recording that and vlogging that all for you guys. It'll be up probably on Sunday or Monday, and then we'll probably do a post game as well. We're kind of still talking that back and forth a little bit to see what we can do for you guys. Maybe we'll record it, or not record it, but live it, do it live,
Yeah.
which would be pretty cool and pretty fun to do. I very much enjoy that. Yeah,
Live
dude.
reactions walking out of the stadium.
Yeah, that we might do as well. Who knows? We might actually do that. I don't know. This is going to be a fun game. This is a game that is just, dude, I've been antsy about since it was announced.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, you know how I feel about it. I mean, I have in-laws and a stepson that loves the Gamecock. So I mean, this is a big one in my house. So,
and I just don't like the Gamecocks personally. So, but you got to give them credit where credit is due. They've got a program seemingly building up over there. Shane Beamer seemingly is the guy for them. Honestly,
yeah, I like.
to fit that.
I'm not going to say anything bad against Shane Beamer. He's taking that program up a couple levels since he's arrived, and he seems like he's a real fun guy. Younger. He's a younger coach, so I mean, he's more in tune with the younger generation, and not taking. He's done a good job with the program.
I don't know, man. Don't discount
him.
Yeah, don't discount Mac. He's over here. He's the one over here with the saying, "You need to get hip and get some drip."
Yeah, Mac Brown. We've seen those Mac Brown locker room dances, and I can't wait to see the one that he has coming in a couple of days.
I bet you let North Carolina win. Just win the game.
100% win
one of these. Video. Oh man, I'm looking for this one. Oh man, gotta love Mac, man. Ain't nothing like the Mac, boy. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna have just a few more days, and we're gonna have a season predictor for you guys. We want you guys to come back out for that as well. If you guys are in the South Carolina game, send us some comments down in the comments box. Head over to Twitter or X and do @the Brothers. We will be there. Be sure and give us a follow over there. Like, comment, subscribe. Talk to us. We want to see you. Add us on Twitter. If you got questions, comments, concerns, we always try to comment in the comments box every time you guys comment. We try to reply to you guys as much as possible. But if you put a comment there and we don't comment back,
like some interactions.
Twitter. Yeah. Add us on Twitter. Yeah.
You want to argue? Let's argue.
Oh. Yeah. If you're a South Carolina fan, we'll argue with you too.
Yeah. I want all the smoke.
All right, man. We're gonna get out of here. Thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
You yawning right now?
Yeah, it's tired.
It's a late night. It is time. It's time to go to bed. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And go Heels.
Go Heels.